This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1267 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Dr. Rose's Remedies. Horse people, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, we've got a great tip from the monthly endurance episode on Hit 'em, hosted by Karen Chatton. Karen is joined by her guest, Dr. Julie Bullock, and they're going to talk about recognizing heat stress in horses. And then we've got a little bonus tip from Dr. Gordon Chang from Omega Alpha Equine, and he explains branched chain amino acids. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Dr. Rose's Remedies.
Dr. Rose's Remedies Skin Treatment Salve and Spray are 100% all-natural products. They are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Dr. Rose's are made with all human-grade ingredients and are safe and effective for treatment for all manner of cuts and scrapes on your horse. And Dr. Rose's is the must-have product here at the Horse Radio Network headquarters to keep PT Scooter's delicate white pasterns free from dew poisoning and scratches. Ask for Dr. Rose's at your local tack store or feed supplier, or visit them online at drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com.
If our horse is starting to experience heat stress, what are those signs that we need to look for?
Definitely you need to look for an increased heart rate. Failure to recover is a big sign. Increased respiration rate, and for some horses that don't normally pant, that are panting, taking their temperature. If they're over 103, they're definitely heat stressed.
Okay.
Some horses will. Several years ago, we had a really, really cool spring. We had no heat to speak of, and we had some horses come to the Old Dominion, and they were all from the upper Northeast, from like Pennsylvania. And they had to do a really large climb, and it was really, really hot and humid. And I treated 4 horses that day that all cramped in their intercostal muscle in the rib cage just from panting because they had not, utilized those muscle groups training because they hadn't had that same kind of challenge.
Oh, right.
So let's see. So things to look for. Definitely, a horse that's hot, a lot of times they won't eat. Say you actually passed the vetting and you went over to your crewing area and your horse is just looking kind of miserable, then you do need to recheck his heart rate, check his temperature, make sure that he didn't heat back up on you, and that you want that. You don't want that look in their eyes where if the flies are hanging on their face and they don't care. That's not a good sign. Definitely all the hydration. I think that we should all be able to basically vet our own horses. We should be able to check our mucous membranes, see if they're dry, make sure our capillary refill is 2 seconds, our jugular, gut sounds. A lot of times your gut sounds will go away when they're hot because the horse is going to circumvent blood flow to other areas. So it's going to take care of its brain, it's going to take care of its other areas of its body, but it's going to prioritize them. And then eventually, once it starts getting a certain amount of heat exhaustion or dehydration, then it has to start, throwing things out of the boat. Like, okay, well, I don't have enough to go, to my guts, so I'm going to send it over here, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And so it's important to, keep the horse in shade as much as possible and to keep cooling them.
Yes, try to get them out of the sun, keep them in the shade, keep cooling them during their rest period, absolutely. And then when you're competing them, when they're out on trail, try to keep them cool. There is the only downside sometimes to shade and humidity is it's difficult for the water to evaporate off the horse.
Right.
So on the West Coast, everything evaporates really quickly. And it doesn't mean those horses are any less dehydrated, because they really aren't. And you can see the salt just accumulate on their bodies.
Uh-huh.
On the East Coast, the horses never dry. They never dry. They stay wet the entire time because that water can't evaporate, and that holds the heat in. So it's really important once that heats up to keep exchanging it and pulling it off and trying to take that hot water off.
Right. And I found some neat little like squeegees at the dollar store that they're just like the perfect size. They're like 10 inches wide, and they're perfect for, scraping the water off of the horse. And you can clip them right onto your bucket, which makes it handy.
Pull up squeegees and being aggressive with the volume of water if you have it available that you're putting on. I'll see people take a sponge and it's kind of like dabbing the horse. It's like, no, you need to get in there. I use scoops. I use like laundry detergent scoops or cat litter scoops and buckets, and I pour the water on so I can get on their fat. So for me, it's like NASCAR. I come in, and that's just because I think my attitude is that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So even if I have a young horse and I'm in no particular hurry, I'm still going to get in there and do it the same way I always, whether I'm trying to win or just trying to finish. I try to keep my pit crewing the same. Get in, get my tack off, get the horse cooled off, blah, blah, blah. Because otherwise it's easy to fall into some kind of complacency and rather than stay at a certain level.
Right. Well, this has been really useful information. We appreciate having you here, Julie. Thank you so much.
What are the branched chain amino acids? Why are they important?
Branched chain amino acids are things like, there's three of them. There's valine, leucine, and isoleucine. Right? Those are the three major branched chain amino acids that you commonly use. And what research has shown is that these three branched chain amino acids actually encourage the buildup of brand new muscle. But what the research has basically shown with these three amino acids is that for it to work optimally, and I use the word optimally, it has to be taken within 1 to 2 hours post-exercise. So you can give it to him at the beginning of the day, it'll be used, but it's not optimized the muscle building of new muscle, right? So that is, for whatever reason, that magic window is 1 to 2 hours post-exercise, right? And if you combine that with the L-glutamine that we also have, right, that L-glutamine also helps inhibit a lot of muscle breakdown. That's one of the things that it does. It does a whole bunch of other things, but for the sake of this conversation, that's one of its major effects.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. Make sure to have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for your iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search for Horse Radio Network. Download it today. It's quick, it's free, and it's easy. Or you can subscribe via iTunes. Thanks again to today's sponsor, Dr. Rose's Remedies. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.